music fans, welcome back. It is the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you and me. Again, driving in the car, and you may not like car videos, but between the last day or two, it's been rough outside, too windy, and even for this area of the country, it's been a little cold. I mean, if it wasn't so windy, I think I could just go out there and do the video. I want to talk about Jon Anderson, and I can kind of relate it to the Steve Perry situation a little bit too. Jon Anderson, the singer from Yes, a few years back, was basically kicked to the curb and replaced by a younger singer. And the guy who replaced him, he's okay. He's okay. It's kind of like a Kelly Hansen situation where he's good. He, holds a tune down, and he doesn't do any harm to the music. But Anderson, who was at one point almost near death, I believe, from what I remember reading, was very sick, ended up coming back. And the band wasn't willing to wait for him to come back and so forth. I think I read some articles where he was just dumbfounded at the fact that they would just continue on without him. And that's what relates to Steve Perry. Steve Perry, I think, wouldn't be where he is today. And Journey, by the way, probably wouldn't be where they are today if they had decided to just wait it out. Okay? I know that's like 2020 Monday morning quarterbacking stuff, but Anderson, who recently sang fantastically at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, okay, because he still sounds, he's 73 years old, by the way. He's a genetic marvel, all right? He's one of these guys who, quite honestly, people have said he hasn't lost anything. He still hits all the high notes. They still sing everything in the same key it was recorded in, and he is phenomenal. He's got a great on-stage presence. He looks terrific, by the way, for age 73. I hope I can, it's going to be tough. It's like he and Sammy Hagar have that anti-aging gene, which is just, it's really cool how they managed to do that. But imagine if Journey had said, okay, Steve, take all the time you need. We're going to go out and do something else under a different name. We're not going to call it Journey. We're going to honor your wishes because we believe, that you're more important to this franchise than really anybody else in the band. And your lead singer, who's one of the most iconic vocalists in all of rock history, I would say, yeah, that's true. Now, in the case of Yes, now there are two yeses. It's bizarre. There's a yes with Jon Anderson and Trevor Rabin and Rick Wakeman. They call themselves ARW. And by the way, I like that version of Yes better than the Steve Howe version with whoever else he's got going on over there with the young kids singing and so forth. No offense. I think Steve Howe and Trevor Rabin don't get along so well. I think when Rabin came in the 80s, which, by the way, is my favorite Yes period, he really just moved those deck chairs around too much and brought in the art of noise and all of this technology and sound, which really made for some spectacular music. When you think of 90125 and Big Generator, those are my two favorite Yes albums, and they always will be. I was an 80s guy, and I appreciated Roundabout and all the stuff that came prior. But, you kind of tamed the prog, sort of the prog elements, and brought in all of that 80s sound, and it really worked. It was a masterpiece, and Trevor Rabin, he's the guy who did that. Steve Howe is more of a traditionalist, and for older Yes fans, they appreciate Steve Howe more. When it comes to Journey, it's just one of those things where, again, you bring in a guy like Steve Augeri who does as well as he could possibly do. And again, in hindsight, he is the best replacement vocalist they've ever had, in hindsight. But Steve Perry was so worth waiting for. And who knows? Again, 1998, Perry records I Stand Alone, David Foster production, could still sing. In fact, sings an epic note at the end of the song. He had lots of gas in the tank, and he probably would have had another 10 years of very productive and powerful lead vocals if he were allowed to just come back on his own terms. But we will never know, will we? John Anderson has come back, and he, at 73, he's just amazing. It's just a lesson for patience. It's funny, because one of the first songs, or I think it was the first song he and Neil Schon wrote together, was called Patiently. So it's ironic they should have taken some advice there and waited for Steve Perry. I'm Dave, this is the Real Music Observer, and I'll be back observing more real music in real time for real people, maybe in the real outdoors. We'll check it out later today and see how that goes. Talk to you then.